Hello everybody, my name is Stevie Marchant and this is my woodshop. Today we're going to be talking about clamps. If you ask any woodworker, they'll probably tell you the same thing. You can never have enough clamps. They're great for holding things down, clamping into a bench. They're good for holding pieces of wood together so you can cook them at the same time to make sure they're the same. They're also ideal for gluing pieces of wood together and adding just the right amount of pressure to keep the wood sandwiched together and make sure the glue has a good bond. The first one I'm going to show you is this bar clamp, and they're very simple to use. So how it works is they run along the bar like this, the handle does. There's one flat piece at one end and one flat piece that moves with the handle. And all you do is squeeze the trigger and it moves along the bar. You can see it's a very gradual movement for fine adjusting. And if you want to extend it out, there's a button on the side and you release the pressure and pull it backwards. Very simple, very easy. All you have to do is put the wood in between the two faces and squeeze. Now these come in various different sizes. You can get long ones, longer ones than this, and you can also get quite small ones for more fragile pieces that don't require a lot of pressure, or you just need to hold something in place while glue sets. And these range anything from about £3.99 for a very small one up to about £35 for quite a long one, really heavy duty. Next on the list is spring clamps. Now these are by far the easiest clamps to use because all you have to do is squeeze them. You squeeze it, clamp it onto whatever you're holding down. These also come in various different sizes. You can get really big ones, you can get metal ones with stronger springs, and you can get little tiny ones like this. And these range from about £1.50 to about £5. Depending on what size, what strength you get. You could probably get ones more expensive that are metal, like I said, with stronger springs. I think if you go to car boot sale, you probably get these ones for about 50p. Okay, next on the list is what I call a G-clamp. They're called C-clamps or G-clamps, whichever one you prefer. And very simple, it's a C-shaped frame, which is usually cast iron, with a screw on one end. You can either clamp your wood straight into there and twist it to clamp it down, or you can put your workpiece or a piece of wood on your workbench and encapsulate the workbench and the workpiece in one clamp by putting this over the two of them. These ones are slightly annoying. I don't like using them because they take so long to screw it from one end to the other. So these are probably the strongest clamps you can get. You just can't beat the clamping power of a cast iron clamp with a screw thread on it. And these ones range anywhere from about £3.99 for a small one, up to about £40 for a really big, massive engineer's one, which chances are you won't need in woodworking anyway. The next one I've got to show you is this one, which is an aluminium sash clamp. These are fairly strong. They're very useful for gluing up wide boards if you've got a tabletop, say you want to glue up, or if you've got big panels and say this kind of clamp just isn't going to cut it, is it? Because that's probably as wide as you're going to get. These ones, as you can see, this clamping end goes all the way up to here, and put your workpiece on, rest it up against this end, which is screwed all the way in the out position, and then what you do is you close this onto the piece of wood so it's about the right size, and it's just like the clamping, and then you screw this end to tighten it down and hold it in place and get all those panels squeezed together. And these ones are the same as any other. You can get smaller or bigger ones. So I also have this bad boy here. Believe it or not, I've glued up something that didn't fit in this one. So I had to trim it down. But yeah, same principle. this little lever on the head here, pull it up, and when you slide it to the place you want it, the other end rests in these divots here, and it snaps in, and it means you can't push it any further. And obviously that goes, whoa, all the way to the end there. Very handy for gluing up wide panels. As well as the aluminium sash clamps, you also get cast iron ones, which are much heavier. And instead of having that little lever with the divots, the tail end of the clamp slides along to meet these holes, and you just slide a pin to stop it from moving. And these are sometimes called T-bar clamps for some strange reason. I don't know why they're called T-bar clamps, but it is exactly the same principle. That slides to wherever you want it to go, and then you tighten the head down to clamp it firmly in place. And these, as you can imagine, are very strong, apply a hell of a lot of clamping pressure, and because it's cast iron, it's less likely to bend or bow, and you can even screw it onto your workbench if you want to. So the brilliant. Okay, we'll wait for the ice cream man to go. The ice cream van is the bane of my life. Right, I think it's coffee time.
It's on my arm.
On your arm?
Yeah.
Do you like the ice cream van?
Yeah. But when we was at the beach with two seas, the ice cream van arrived here, and I just said, please get an ice cream, and then we got ice cream, and then I got some, and then I just ate the cone.
So the aluminium sash clamps that I've just shown you range anywhere from £10 for quite a small one up to about £30 for a really big one, bigger than the one I showed you. The cast iron one that I showed you ranges anywhere from £25 up to £40, depending on the length and the brand, I guess. Yeah, away with you, nobody wants ice cream. The next few I'm going to show you, I'm going to take you over to my bench because they're either fixed in place or there's a bit more to them. It's a bit fiddly for me to be just holding in front of you, so bring you over to my workbench. Alrighty, so the next one I want to show you is called a band clamp. That's this here, or sometimes called a strap clamp, or a frame clamp. And basically what it is a large strap with two clamps on the sides here that hold them in place. And you can use it one of two ways. You'll notice it has these plastic blocks around it which have corners on them. So if you have a picture frame, which is what they're most commonly used for, you set one corner on each corner of the frame, here, and here, and pull it tight like that, clamp it down so it holds the band in place, and then this handle here, as you tighten it, pushes this corner up, which brings the straps further down, and that tightens it and draws it together. So if you've got a picture frame and one of these is in each corner, it will slowly draw them together and squash the picture frame closer and squeeze the glue out and make for a strong bond. And the other way you can use it is if you take these corners off, say you want to glue something that is round, or say if you want to glue a handle onto a mug, for example. Same thing, you just loop the strap around loosen that one off, tighten it as much as you want, or you know, as big as you want it really, and then clamp the clamp down, and same as before, as you turn this handle, it draws that up and pulls the strap tighter, so you can have it very tight. Okie dokie, so this clamp here is what's called a vice grip, or a face clamp. And what it is it basically runs off the same principle as one of these. I'm sure you've all seen one of these before, just a normal vice grip. When you loosen the screw at the bottom, it widens the jaws, and vice versa. If you tighten the screw, it tightens the jaws. And this little lever here releases the grip. So when you grip a screw, bolt, whatever, nail, and you squeeze that, it locks into place. I think they're called locking pliers as well. So this basically works on the same principle. When you screw that, tighten it, loosen it, it narrows and widens the grip. And these are especially good for making butt joints. Or if you're using pocket hole screws into this kind of joint, that's handy as well. So what you do is you'd apply your glue to the joint here. This is what's known as a butt joint, when two pieces of wood literally just push together like that with no special joinery or anything. So you can get your vice and put it right over the joint and squeeze, and it holds it in place while the glue dries, and that's very secure, very sturdy. Yeah, and it's good for holding these kind of joints together. And to loosen it, you just pull this lever here and it springs open. And these are around £10–20 mark, depending on what size, depending on what brand you get. So this one is called a quick release clamp, and it runs off the same principle as a caulking gun. If you've ever used a caulking gun before, you'll know that when you squeeze the trigger, it slides a lever along a bar. So this one, all you do is squeeze the handles there, and it slides along, and then to release it, kind of like on a caulking gun, you pull the trigger on the back, and it releases it. So these, very handy. All you do is squeeze them, and they won't pull apart unless you use the trigger. Now this is a very highly adjustable one, so it's got these little clamps here that you undo, and you can flex the arms there. So if we put them both on the highest setting, then what you'll see is that it doesn't really take a lot of movement to get the jaws to close. Whereas if we put them on the other end, we loosen that and move it down to the bottom setting. You can see it's incredibly wide, and even if you squeeze it all the way closed, they're not going to meet, and that's for, as you can imagine, quite wide boards, panels, or just quite thick pieces of wood you want to glue together. So again, if you're wanting to clamp these together faceways like this, you just put the jaws over the top and squeeze. Squeeze them together, and it will hold them there until you press that lever. And this one I got for about £8 from B&Q, I think. Righty, the next on the list is the toggle clamp, and these things are basically used for holding things in place on a large flat surface. I use these for my table saw jointing jig, and it's very good at holding wood down whilst running it through a table saw. So you get your piece of wood onto your flat surface there, and bring the toggle clamp down, and the rubber tip will squash onto the wood. You put two of them on there and they're not going anywhere. So you can't move those at all. They're very strong, great for use on the table saw because it's very secure. As you can see, we've got quite a large range of motion on them. They're Highly adjustable. Also, you can put any kind of block underneath these to raise or lower the height because they screw directly down. This end is adjustable as well. You can unscrew them there, slide them anywhere along the bar, and you can raise or lower this rubber tip here as well. So if you've got a thick or a thin piece of wood, you can adjust that accordingly without unscrewing the base. And you can either get quite big ones like this for holding large pieces of wood, or these little cuties, about the size of my thumb. And they're, as you can imagine, for quite small pieces of wood, just for clamping little trim pieces in place. A bit close up on the mechanism there as well, so that's how it works. Up position, roll it down, and this all hinges in some weird, mystical, magical way and clamps it down and holds it in place. Righty, and by no means is that an exhaustive list. There are so many different types of clamps. I didn't want to bore you with all of them. This video is probably longer than you'd want to have spent watching a guy talk about clamps anyway. Thank you very much for watching, I really appreciate it. Please give it a like if you enjoyed this video, I hope you did. Don't forget to leave a comment in the space below if you want to discuss any points, if you want to ask me anything, or if you just want to tell me how rubbish or amazing this video was. Please subscribe to my woodworking channel, you'll be notified of every new video that comes out if you do. Get to know what I'm up to. Follow me on Facebook, I'm Stevie Martin's Woodshop. And I'll see you all next Monday for the next woodworking how-to video. Thank you very much for watching, guys. It means a lot to me. Bye-bye.